Hello, welcome to our Junior Cabin Leader video. If you are watching this, that means you get to be a Junior Cabin Leader at SABC this summer. And I'm super stoked about that, and I know the rest of our staff are excited about that too. What this means is that you have completed our Teleos training program either this past month or the previous summer, and we are excited to help you move in from being in the program to now being in a cabin. Some ways that this is now going to be different from when you were at Teleos is that you get to do some added things that you weren't able to do as a Teleos. But to just remind yourself of what you were able to do, you're able to help get your kids ready for bed, lead bedtime story, help with spedazzo that happens after chapels, and you were totally capable of sitting with your cabin during lunch while the senior cabin leader took a kid for a one-on-one. And you're also more than welcome to join one-on-ones with the senior cabin leader and the camper. Some new things that you're able to do now that you're a junior is that you can take half of your cabin with you during cabin time. So if half your cabin wants to stay in the cabin or go to the gym or go to the beach, and the other half of the cabin wants to do something different, like they want to go play gaga ball or they want to do any of the other activities that are offered during cabin time, you are able to take half of them and go do that activity with them while your senior cabin leader takes the other half and goes to what they would like to do. This helps make it a lot easier on both of you as cabin leaders, because then you have less stress trying to figure out who's gonna do what, and the same story of 3 campers want to go to the beach every single day and you have campers who really don't want to go swimming. We still encourage you to spend time with your whole cabin together. So if you can still get them to do swimming together one day and to go to the gym the next day, that is probably the best situation, and we want you to try to strive for that. And something else that you can do is you can take one camper or 2 who don't want to go with the rest of the group, and you can find another cabin that is doing that same activity and you can join them. We ask that if there isn't another cabin already doing that activity, to just have those 2 campers stay with you and the rest of the cabin and the senior cabin leader. We're doing this because we don't want you to spend too much time alone with these individual campers, not because it's bad, but because it could put you in situations that you might feel stressed or under prepared for, which hopefully this video will help prepare you as best as possible. But we just want to help keep everyone together as much as possible. And if an emergency occurs, then you have other people to call on for help as well. This is something that you're probably able to do as a Teleos, but you're more than capable of doing as well as a junior, is going to the nurse. You can take your camper to the nurse because of needs for medications, injuries, if they're feeling sick. You can also go grab the nurse if you need to bring the nurse to your cabin. One thing that you need to make sure of is that you communicate to your senior cabin leader that you are taking a camper with you to the nurse, because the senior cabin leader is ultimately responsible for each camper and also in making sure that you are safe as well. So something that might come up when you're spending time with campers one-on-one, walking to the nurse, walking back from an activity, is that they may start opening up to you about what is going on at home, and there may be a very obvious telling of it, or there may be more subtle hints of abuse going on at home. And this is really heartbreaking and really hard to hear. And so if you're not comfortable having that conversation with the camper, we more than understand that. We also want you to be taken care of. And so if you don't feel comfortable having that conversation with that camper, then we ask that you let them know that you need to bring somebody else into the conversation with you. This could mean your senior cabin leader, it could mean discipleship directors, fort directors, or any leadership staff or full-time staff. We'd all join in on the conversation with you. We do have another video that you will view later on that is about bullying and abuse, which gives a lot more insight and in-depth information as to how this would go on. And so I'm going to leave that for that video. But one more thing that you do need to know is that this information needs to be told and written down. And so if you and your senior cabin leader decide that you're going to write down this information together, feel free to grab discipleship or the fort directors. They would love to sit down and help you fill out the form. The forms are found in the mailbox room on a brown shelf. If this location changes, you will be informed of where that new location is. Now for our next form that you might need to find and fill out is for bullying. Camp has a no bullying policy, so that means don't do it. If you are bullying somebody, then you need to stop. It doesn't matter if that joke is funny, if it's tearing somebody else down, we do not tolerate it. And feel free to make sure that if you see anybody else bullying, such as campers, support staff, other cabin leaders, leadership staff, full-time staff, tell them that you think they are bullying and that they need to reconsider their humor or the way they talk to each other. Of course, if it is involving other staff, just make sure to communicate to the people who are in charge of that area of people. So ultimately, if you're not sure who to tell, you can tell John Gartley, our executive director, and he will take it from there. But for campers, make sure you have it stopped. We don't want that continuing because that could result in them going home if it's not stopped ahead of time. And so make sure to grab their name and find out which cabin they're from so that you can tell their cabin leader. If they are from your cabin, make sure to communicate to your senior cabin leader that campers are being bullied and are bullying each other in your cabin so that the two of you can make a game plan of how to keep that from happening again. Leading with other people is both a joy and a challenge, and same goes with leading with a senior cabin leader. We are pairing you with a senior cabin leader to help you in your own personal growth in being a leader and for your learning of how to lead a cabin. Senior cabin leaders and junior cabin leaders are very similar to a business partner stance. And so how that works is the senior partner and the junior partner function and act basically the same. The only thing is if there is a disagreement or conflict of interest between the two of them, the senior leader gets to have the ultimate say. And if you are feeling conflicted with some of the things that are going on between you and your senior cabin leader, please tell the discipleship directors or the fort directors, as they want to keep the cabin leaders accountable and we want to help them grow in their own abilities as well. If you have any questions while you're leading with a senior cabin leader, feel free to ask them. Ask them how come they chose to handle a situation the way they did. And if they ask you why you chose to do something or acted a way that you did, we are all open to becoming better people. And so have a conversation with them. Talk about the reasonings behind them. Talk about options that could have happened instead of what you chose to do or what they chose to do, and see possibly what different outcomes there are. If you are in the wrong, please apologize, whether that's to senior cabin leaders, to other junior cabin leaders, to your campers. We want to be showing and embodying Jesus Christ to everyone around us. And I know for myself, apologizing can be hard, but it's something that is only going to better our community here at SABC. Some things that you might need to know for cabin leading is that we do morning devos. It's likely that you've already joined us for morning devotions. But I just want to let you know that is something that is going to continue. The time that these happen at will be communicated to you ahead of time. The expectation is that you come dressed, ready with your Bible, ready to hear what God is saying to you. If this means that you need to get up a little bit earlier and do your own personal devotions or time in prayer or just time in silence beforehand, please do that so that you are ready for morning devotions with the rest of the community. Share about what you are learning, because even though you feel really shy and uncomfortable, it's likely that everyone else does too. And sharing is an important part of our community here. You get an hour off every day, which is really amazing, and we want you to use it wisely so that you are able to continue on throughout the week and to end the week feeling not like you're dying, but like you're ready for a longer rest. And so in your time off, if you need to take a nap, if you need to spend time by yourself, if you need to read a book, if you need to read your Bible, if you need to go on a long walk, if you need to spend time with Jesus, or if you need to spend time in community, please do those things. Most people aren't just people. They need to have time by themselves, and even the most extroverted person still needs time by themselves. And so make it your goal to take at least 1 hour off in the week to spend time by yourself so that you are feeling rested for the rest of that day. If you are struggling with things that are going on in your cabin, in your personal life, or you need some encouragement, feel free to talk to discipleship directors or the fort directors, as we want to walk alongside you and help you in your time here at camp. So what it might mean is that you take a meal off and spend time talking to the discipleship or fort director. It could mean they give you some extra time off. None of these things are promised, but it's something that could be a possibility. We ask that while you're in a cabin that you put your campers first. We are here to see lives transformed by God through the gospel of Jesus Christ. And if we are wanting to put them first and have them have a great week of camp, I personally think that that is the best way that they're going to see Jesus. Yes, they're going to hear about God in chapels. And so we want you to be attentive in chapels so that they are listening, because you never know what they're going to take away, even if it looks like they're not listening. And maybe it means taking a little less time to sleep at night and have a conversation with them about your walk with Jesus or how their life is going. And this could happen on the way down to the beach. They might just have questions about how Jesus was able to do the amazing things that he did and who he is and how he's the same as God or different than God. There's so many things that we could talk about with our campers. All right, so we're going to talk phones. Service is kind of limited out here, and so, as you've already experienced, you probably won't even need to carry it on you because it's going to be a distraction, and we really want to focus on our campers. If you need to check your phone, do it during your time off. That's probably the best time to do it. We don't want to see it at meals, because even if you think nobody's seeing or noticing, there's 150 people on the lodge side that are going to notice, and there's 70 people at the fort side who are going to notice. So if you need a watch and alarm clock, please come prepped with those, as it'll make your life so much easier. Phones, bye. And now, on to our last topic. Christmas cards. Dun, dun, dun. So this one is a pretty great example of what your postcards, Christmas cards, can look like. It is just a postcard, so you don't have to write a huge long story or fill it with a bunch of words. If you want to tell something really meaningful that you think is going to be important to them, please do, but this is also acceptable. Zach, hey, I hope you've had an awesome school year so far. I had such a blast having you in my cabin. I loved seeing how much fun you and Nevin had dancing during chapels and at the beach. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. It's clear, it's legible, it's a large size, so it doesn't look like there's a lot of white space. We don't want you to write just a sentence, but you also, again, don't need to write a book on here. The only thing that I would add myself to this is if there was something from chapel, like a memory verse or just something that they learned in one of the days, to include that on there as well. Otherwise, if you have any questions about junior cabin leading, just feel free to ask the discipleship directors or the fort directors any of your questions at the start of the week. We are so excited for the summer. I'll see you soon.